folks, let me say hello and welcome to everyone. Doug here with the LincolnList.com. Welcome to another daily edition of Stock Market Mutterings. Before we get started today, I gotta brew up, or I ain't gonna make it through. It's already a Monday. Oh, guys, I'm tired, but this market's crazy. Gotta get me a drink of this. Yeah, I just did that. I want to mainline it right here in the vein. Just put it right in there. Put it right in there because I'm going to need it to finish this week. This market is nuts. Now, here's what I got for you guys today. All kidding aside, I've been talking about this check mark pattern. I've been talking about this market. This is just nuts. And every time you see this pattern that I'm going to show you today, every time you see, not just the pattern, I'm going to talk about the setup. Every time you see the setup, the pattern, this sort of action in the market, it almost always works. Sure, there's no guarantees, but I'm telling you, it almost always works. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second. So, cheers to you guys. Let me get this. Now let's just walk over here real quick. Chill off the webcam. Sit you down over here where the magic, right there, where the magic happens. I'll switch over to the webcam here real quick in just a second, huh? All right. All right, we get you here on the webcam. Let's talk about stocks, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Guys, remember that song? Come on. Talking to you guys. You got to remember that, right? A little salt and pepper. Of course, I use the word stocks instead of. But if you want to know, look it up on the Googles. Look it up on the Googles. Listen to it tonight. It's a pretty good jam. So, here's what we're going to talk about, guys. This check mark pattern in this market is like an arrow, like a bullseye. It's just pow! It's just dynamite. And what we're seeing now, what we saw today, is something that every time I see the check mark encompassed with what we saw today, it almost always wins. There's no 100% in the market. I give you that. I admit that. But every time you see this, it's just freaking nuts. And this market is nuts. And what we're seeing here is just this this mass explosion of tech. And I'm going to sprinkle something here a little first, and I'll probably do a rant about this, maybe even a happy hour. But the reason this tech is so hot is the plan for big tech has always been able to separate us socially in ways where we're communicating 100% online. The world wants us. Big tech wants us to buy everything online. Groceries. Just wants to do every single piece of business online. They want us to communicate online, live online, and almost have zero social contact. That way all our friends are exposed. I'm getting a little deep here, yes. All our friends are exposed and stuff like that. And they can creep stock them and sell them stuff and do data profiling, because data, selling of data and pillaging data is more expensive. It's the most expensive commodity in the world, more than gold. More than oil. It's data, getting people's data so they can do what they do. That's another topic. That's a rant. So, here's what happens in times of crisis. Laws and rules that normally would take years to implement, just like that in a crisis. Just like that in a crisis. So you can go back and you can look at any crisis, and what that normally has done is opened up the door for companies to have like a free reign, and sometimes laws get passed and they have some sort of counter effect later on. We're not going to go into that, but what we're looking at is what big tech really wanted. That would take a couple of years. Now it's all forced upon us because everyone's quarantined and has really no choice but to do business a certain way. And you're seeing probably retailers and other types of businesses in your area do things completely different, and some of this stuff is going to change forever. Like, we're not going to go back to the old way. So tech is hot. It's just really hot. And right now, it's almost, you just buy a damn tech on a dip these days. That's what it's coming down to. But let me show you what I'm talking about. I went with the Qs today because, again, the tech is it right now, and it just had a better setup than the SPY. And I was just doing my normal thing. You had a big gap up last night on the Sunday night futures. You faded all the way down, and you got into support. And I had one little piece of support to work with from Friday's low. And then I had some near-term support sitting here at 221s and 220s in this area. So what I normally do is go in here with I went in with a little bit more decent size here because the range wasn't that much. I figured, well, it's only going to drop another buck or two or so on, but it doesn't matter. You go in here with the premises, there's a chance you might work it down here. But I was pretty confident that somewhere between where I got in here and to the lows from a couple of days back, Thursday, that it would find support. And if it didn't find support or it wasn't able to hold, at least it would stop selling off at that point, level out, and then I can make a decision there. And that's how I do it. Now what happened is I got into it at a pretty good price, almost at the low. And it kind of started floating up. And as soon as the market opened, it was like there was this billboard that flashed, right? And it said, the market's going to close in 45 seconds. And everybody just started swarming money. It's like money started flying in, and it just shot straight up. And you go down the board, you look at stuff like shot straight up. You got Amazon straight up. You've got Nvidia straight up. I mean, these things just took off like they were not going to have shares ever again, and that was going to be it, and you were screwed if you didn't buy in the next 30 seconds. And you could see that like on timing and sales. Is like there's not even a seller here. Everybody's just buying, and they're buying viciously. So what I'm trying to say is when you're looking at something like this and you get a bounce off of support, this is one thing why you got to be in a trade room. This is why you got to see this stuff in a real-time environment. This is why you need screen time, because I can't show you the speed. And this is something we talk about all the time in our room. Power, speed, how quick these moves are made. And when you see something coming off of the bottom that violently, guys, I'm telling you, I've been around long enough to know, the chances of that pulling back are slim to none. I know we look at it when we say, it's too high, I gotta wait. And then you wait and it goes higher, and you wait and it goes higher. The momentum is so strong. And what this is doing is it's sending a message, right? It's sending a message that you better buy now or you're not. And that's what happens. People just start stampeding, and this is how you get this Momo. And look at this thing. So in this market right now, if you're doing the check mark, you're down in your support and you're buying the check mark, you have got to think that every single trade stands a chance going back to high of day. When someone asks, what's my target? It's high of day. Take me right back. So when I bought this at 222, I'm thinking it's going to go to 226. And that's exactly what it did. And some of them like this just punch right through. Just jams right through, like Nvidia. You know, same thing. You get one little fade here in Nvidia, right into support. And look, here's high. It just blows through high like it's like a cannonball going through a wet paper towel. Like it's not even there. And that's what you see. So when you see the speed and the power, after you enter down at support, that's a winner. That's almost every single time it's a winner, and it ain't coming back. It just isn't coming back. And this is why we do this pattern, because sure, you guys can buy breakouts, but if you buy a breakout all the way up here, yeah, you made some money, but look what you got. Look at the little piece of pie that you ended up getting right here. And look at the pie we got. So that's like somebody handing you like, here, you're hungry, here's your piece of pie. It's like this size. Here's your pie. Have fun eating your little pie. And then we come along, they're like, here, you want a piece of pie? How about the whole damn pie? Shove the whole pie in your face. I want you to take the whole pie, savage. That's what we're talking about. That's why we do it, because we want the big move. So, anyway, enough of the kidding. I'm woke up now, actually sweating a little. Let's talk about tomorrow. I'm still convinced at this point, the way the market's running, SPY's going to 300, maybe just right through it. It's going to go. Every day that passes by, I'm like, make the reason that it's not. You're not with this kind of vicious dip buying. Like, here's what you're seeing. I know a lot of people are saying you got to have a correction, but there have been small, tiny corrections over the last few days. The market, look at this. Big fade. What happens? It's just like, again, think about this, guys. It's like rubbing it in your face. The SPY is taunting you. Yeah, it sells off. Everybody's like, okay, this is it. This, look, like right here. Sell off. What's the next thing? Recovers. Sell off. What happens? Recovers. Sells off. Recovers. Sells off. Recovers. Sells off. Recovers. It keeps doing that. It keeps getting shoved down and recovers. And it's not one day. This is 5, 8, 10 days. It keeps every sell-off. It's like the Fed's down there just feeding this. And that's what you need to be looking for. That's what you need to be looking for. So when we're coming back through here, I mean, for any of these, I mean, I can go down through my list here. Pick your poison. TDOC, TDOC. These charts. TDOC. NVIDIA every day. I'm not even going to show you the chart. NVIDIA every day. Splunk, SPLK. Splunk. Look at it. Look at this. Apple. Like Apple ever look at how many green days is on Apple. Like, are they ever going to have another red day again? This thing's going to blow through its all-time highs. I don't even know what that is. It's got to be pretty close. 327.85s maybe? I mean, look at that. You know, DocU. Look at this. Look at the multiple day run on these things. It's just every time it gets sold, it gets bought. They're not going to stop all of a sudden tomorrow. And if you have a down day tomorrow, they're probably going to get bought back up the following. It's just not ready to. So when I'm looking at these, PAYC, I'll go through my list again if this is the first time you're watching. I've done a lot of these already. And here's the way I'm doing it. Rather than just sitting here picking one and say this is the one it is. If you got bigger banks, you can go Amazon Shop, Tesla. You can do those if you've got a little bit more risk appetite. If you got a little bit more of a medium appetite, TDOC, TDOC, NVIDIA, NVDA, Lulu, LULU, Splunk, SPLK, Netflix, NFLK, OKTA, OKTA, DocU, DOCU, FTNT, FTNT, I don't even know the name of the company, that's what I said, PAYC, PAYC. Excuse me, because I always pronounce symbols. So what I do normally is just look for these. Who's red? There's like a dozen, 15, 20 stocks there. Who's red? Whoever goes down into support, I'm buying it. Some days it's ZM. Some days it's Splunk. Some days it's BABA. Some days it's Shop. Some days it's OKTA. But somebody's going to do it tomorrow. Somebody is going to give you that shot. They're going to open up the door and tell you, look, Mr. and Mrs. Trader, here's your freebie. Here's your layup. Here's your gift wrapped with a nice little bow. And it's not even Christmas. We still got like 7 months to go before that Christmas stuff. And I'm going to pay you right now. Unbelievable. And the reason that you got to do it now so aggressively is because it's not going to keep going like this forever. It's going to get back to a point where, yes, it does sell off. Or where it does get choppy. But man, right now, oh God, you got to make, I don't want to butcher up another saying because I have a tendency, what is it, make hay while the sun shines? I think so. Help me out. Anyway, guys, leave it right there. Market mutterings. I could go into depth about stocks. I could draw you tons of charts. I'm going to save you some time. You don't need to do that right now. Use the check mark. Find the big beta. Find masters of tech. Find the money flow going into this. Pick those. You need help with it, show up in the room. I'll guide you. I'll walk you right down that path of righteousness. I will walk you down there. So anyway, guys, and thanks for watching Market Muttering. Show your support by following this channel, subscribing to this channel, and liking the video. Until tomorrow, trade well. Talk to you guys then.